story of Saranac is, in 1991, we entered Saranac in the Great American Beer Festival, which is a craft beer festival, and they judge beers. Saranac was judged the best American premium lager in that contest, and we made the decision after that, well, if we have the best beer in America, maybe we ought to be focused on selling that, not so focused on Mass and Utica Club. And frankly, that was a real right angle for our company, but it turned out to, in hindsight, been a wonderful decision. And you know, today Saranac is most of our business, and it is, you know, it's an awfully big part of this brewery, and really probably is the reason that we're still here. We are just introducing a new beer under Saranac called Cold Brew Coffee Lager. And what we're doing is blending this cold brew technology, which is very hot, with a very nice tasting beer. And that's really what Saranac is about. It's about innovation, it's about doing different things, it's about finding the real trends and capitalizing on them and making beers that people will love. And this cold brew coffee lager is a wonderful beer. It's just, I'm delighted with it.
Craft beer in particular has a number of visual cues, olfactory cues, and obviously tastes different than any other beers. The first way that you appreciate a beer obviously is with your eyes, and you know, craft beers go anywhere from being bright yellow, straw colored, to hazy orange, deep red, mahogany, all the way to brown and black. You're going to get a visual cue as to what you might be expecting to taste based on the color of the beer and the appearance of the beer. Then they smell it. Craft beer smells delicious. The most popular craft beers are IPAs, and you get a beautiful bouquet from the hops that can go from piney to grassy to citrusy, tropical fruits, stuff like that. And then of course you take your first sip, and all of those experiences come together, and you get craft beer. Craft beer suffers from a bit of pretentiousness, and as brewers and as people who work in the industry, we're actually trying to fight that out of it, because we want more people to be included and take part in this hobby with us.
The Brewers Association of America, which went back for many, many, many years, was merged with the Association of Brewers and became the Brewers Association. It is now, the Brewers Association is now a very large organization. They probably have 3,000 members. I was in on the founding of the Brewers Association, and so I'm recognized on that level. But what happened at the Craft Brewers Conference was there is an award that is given to one of the industry members each year, and it really is for their participation in the industry and what they've done to help other people. And it's actually called the FX Matt Defense of the Industry Award. And of course it's named for my brother FX, and that's the award I was given. It was a very nice award, and I was obviously very proud to win it and very humbled by being recognized that way. Winning awards is about making good products, and that's what we have to continue to do. I mean, we don't have really any other choice with that.
As people learn new techniques, new ingredients, hops are constantly changing, new flavor profiles are coming out every day. And not only that, it's also very cyclical. People are going back to old recipes, and people's tastes are cyclical, very seasonal. It's always evolving. What's here today, if it's still here in 15 years, is a miracle. You know, the breweries that are producing the beer have some longevity, but the styles change.
One of the things that's really nice about this industry is that there is a lot of camaraderie in it, and we try and help each other. And what frankly I would tell you I'm somewhat concerned about as I see some of the smaller breweries going public, being bought out by very large companies, being bought out by Anheuser-Busch, etc., is that's going to change, and it's not going to be like that forever. And I think frankly we are going to see some changes going forward in this small craft brewing industry. I think it's going to get more competitive, and frankly we're getting to a point where there are an awful lot of products on the shelf and they don't all fit, and so it's going to get to be a little different. You know, so how do we tell our story? How do we tell this story of this company that has been in business for 128 years, made great beers, had a family tradition, but you know, and yes, it's the Matt family, but we've also got families who have worked here, generations of families who have worked here. So it's not just the Matts. Frankly, it's a family company. It's a Utica family company, and you know, and how do we tell that story? And that we're still puzzling on that.
I would say in the last 15 years, especially, you've seen an explosion of craft breweries in New York State. We have breweries that are infinitesimally small to your FX mat-sized breweries, you know, and everything in between. We represent brands from Lake George, Lake Placid, Ithaca, Hamilton, New York, all the way down the Hudson Valley corridor. We all share a similar population and demographic. They're all completely different from each other in what their business ethos is and what they take to market. Having worked for Nick, I can say that he provided a lot of legitimacy to craft beer early on. Nick is a very savvy businessman, and he was very protective of that Saranac brand and has nurtured it. And it's very rare that a brand has that longevity, especially coming from a small family-owned brewery in upstate New York. So yeah, I honestly do. I think it's very evident the effect that Nick Matt has had on craft brewing as a whole, and certainly very evident in our community where we have our pride behind Saranac.
We're at a very, very interesting time in Utica, New York. What I think is really the big difference is you really see optimism in this city right now. You see people who really do believe that things are getting better and that we're seeing growth. You're seeing people invest in downtown Utica. It really is pretty exciting when all of a sudden this starts to happen. There have been a lot of very positive things. I'm very optimistic about where this is going.